Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In today's video, I am going to install a vanity for this commercial bathroom. Now, the one key difference between this install and a couple others that I already have on the channel is that this drain is cast iron. So this will be a good reference for a condo in a low rise or a high rise where they'll use cast iron opposed to ABS plastic. One other thing is there's a condensate drain for the AC unit that I'm going to move, and I need to connect into the drain. And guys, one thing to keep in mind is that this drain assembly needs to be serviceable. Everything needs to be able to be taken apart for when the time comes that the trap is either plugged or there is another issue requiring the drain to be removed. So what we'll do now is we'll look at our bathroom and then we'll do material and tools. Alright, so this is the vanity that I'm going to remove. It's a wall mounted. There's also a condensate drain here. So the idea or the plan will be to go over into the wall down and then connect into this drain, so it'll be a better look than it is now. Alright, this is our materials list. So I have ABS glue, PVC primer, PVC glue for ABS fittings. I've got a union trap, a YT clean out slip adapter 45 if I need one. I have a threaded by solvent cement adapter. I've got two 3-inch mechanical joint bands, 2 1.5 mechanical joint bands. I've got a 3x1.5 inch cast T, an 1.5 inch cast 45, 3-inch riser clamp, PVC fittings, ABS pipe, PVC pipe, 3/4 copper, 1/2 inch copper. I've got solder and flux strap, 1/2 inch PEX, angle stops, scutcheons, putty if I need it. My PEX tray, so this has clips, rings, fittings, anything else. Copper 90s, 3/4 couplings, 1/2 inch couplings, swept by PEX adapters. I don't know what I need for soldering yet. We'll figure that out after I open up the wall. 3-inch screws, 3/4 screws. That is the material I have here. Next, we will look at the faucet and the cabinet, which is on site. All right, this is our cabinet here. So there's no drawers, there's one on the bottom, and then this is our faucet, a glacier base single handle. So with that in mind, what we'll do now is the tools list. All right, this is our tools list. So I have my finishing kit, cordless kit, grinder, sawzall. Hand tools, I have my pouch measuring tape, whatever else I might need. I have my respirator because this is an older place. I don't know if asbestos is an issue. If you don't have a respirator, just use a dust mask. That'll be fine. For safety equipment, earplugs, glasses, 2-foot level, hacksaw. I have my torch, a spray bottle of water, 1/2 inch crimpers, and then a drywall saw. This is what I believe I need for tools for this job, so let's get started. All right, this is our wall mounted vanity. So I'm not going to film me taking it apart, but the two stops will disconnect that. If it's silicone at the top, we'll just cut that, disconnect the drain, and then pull it up and it'll come off. Okay, so from about this area, 6 inches over is the next stud. So the stud here in the middle is the only stud I'm going to be able to hit for screwing the cabinet into the wall. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a box here, and then I'll cut out the drywall. We'll pull it off the wall, and then we'll see what we find inside the wall. Okay, so also we have a stud over here, so we'll go down that stud. So I'm going to put on a respirator and then I'll cut the hole in the wall. Alright, so I cut off these scutcheons with tin snips. So I'm going to remove the handles and I'm going to make a hole just big enough to get the piece of drywall. Alright, so this is the hole in the wall. So this is our hot, this is our cold, or original trap arm. So this is going to be the center. The tenant here wants me to shuffle the cabinet 3 inches off the wall to conceal this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this T out. I'm going to put my 3 by 1.5 inch T. I'm going to spin it on a 45. I'll have to notch the very edge of this. And then it's going to come out right in the middle here. Okay, so to take this T out, I'm going to put a riser clamp here on these blocks. If these blocks weren't here, I would put blocks in. Guys, this is one of the 2 key safety things on this job. We need to take up the weight of this because if I rip that T out, this piece of pipe can slide down. So by putting the riser clamp here, that's going to take up this weight and that'll allow me to take that off. Alright, so I already tightened the one in the back here. So for a riser clamp, the easiest thing to do is to compress the wings, do up the nut, tighten it down until it stops moving the nut. So you want these wings to touch. There's no such thing as over tightening these. Alright, I just realized this is a cross T, so it has a trap arm coming out here and a trap arm going out the other way, so I cannot remove this T. Alright, so I drilled an 1.25 inch there for the block, and then I measured 8 off the wall, the same as down below, and then I punched another 1.25 inch hole there. So this is going to be the center of the pipe. This is an 1/8 lower, so I'm going to take a 90. We're going to come over, go into the wall, and then go down and come out where the other hole is. Alright, so I ran the condensate 90'd over into the wall, came down. I had to put a coupling in because of all the backing in the wall. And then here is where I have my 90. So what I'll do is I'll just show you how to glue one piece of PVC pipe using primer. Okay, so for a piece of pipe, and guys, leave it tilted down because the primer it's really thin like water, and the last thing you want is it going down your pipe. It'll look terrible. Oh, I missed a spot. Okay, so I strapped it in place. You can see the coupling. I've thrown the block back in. This is all done now. This is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the water off. We'll open the hot and cold, drain the system, and then we'll cut and transition the PEX and put on new stops. Alright, so this is our main. We'll just shut this off. So the bathroom we're working in is upstairs, so we'll open this. And then I'm going to go upstairs and open the stops, and I know the main here is not holding tight, so the water will just keep dripping out of this faucet. Okay, so with the main off, we'll open. You can see the water level inside the stop. This will introduce air into the system, and this will give me an opportunity now to solder these sweat by PEX adapters. Alright, so I'm going to cut the cold. So I've already done this, but clean the copper all the way around. I'm going to unscrew the wingback 90. And I'm going to take a grinder to cut the copper. Guys, once again, use earplugs and safety glasses. And also have water on hand, which I do right here, in case something catches on fire. Next, we'll ream it. I'll take a file with me, clean the burr. We'll clean our cap, or sorry, our sweat by PEX adapter. Alright, so we have our hot, we have our cold. I'm telling this. Because of the ring, and this is too tight, I used a 3/4 Talon, but that'll be enough to hold this in place. And guys, don't miss a crimp like I just did here. Alright, so turn the water back on, guys, once again. Turn it on slowly, just open it a crack. If you have a leak, you'll hear a hissing sound. I don't hear anything. Once the water main goes silent, you can open it the rest of the way, and in this case here, because it's a globe style valve, open it all the way and then give it a quarter turn back to the right so the valve won't seize to its body. Okay, so I mudded the wall. I fixed it so it hasn't been painted, but you can see that it looks a lot better than it did before. So we have our condensate drain there, our trap arm that hasn't moved, and then we have our two lines. Originally they wanted to move the center to 15, but now the customer says just to go tight up against the wall. But because there is a gap there, there's going to be a gap here. And because there's tile down there as well, there's going to be a gap here. But what I will do is I'll put a piece of plywood in behind here. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our level. And the right side is high. So you can either lower the right or raise the left. I think both of the, or all four of the feet are screwed in all the way. That means you can't go any lower on the right, so we'll have to raise the left. It's just a screw in type, so just unscrew the left side until it is level. I'm looking at it like this. So the front is high as well, so that side needs to go up the most. I will go ahead and do the adjustment now. So really quickly, the feet just screw in if you want to lower, and then they unscrew if you want to raise it. But this one will go the most, and then I'll do that one as well. Alright, now there's the level. Do the rock test. As long as it's not doing this type of thing, then you're fine. And this seems to be stable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see about putting something back here to take up this space. If you leave this space here, this piece here will start to flex, like it'll arc right where you screwed in. So guys, keep one thing in mind, that the cold here, the stud is right here, so we're going to put the screw somewhere here. But if you're in the middle, this can start to flex out when you tighten the screws. So I'm going to go see about a 1/2-inch piece of plywood that I can throw in to take up the gap. Alright, so I found some 5/8 wood. I put a piece there, 2 screws there. I hit, I don't know, a plate or something here, so I just moved it to there, and I hit another side. So this wasn't in the material list because I didn't know about this at the time, guys. This is called a Furnico, or I guess a flex coupling. So we have 1.5 inches on this side, 1.25 inches. So I'm going to put the band right here. I don't think it's worth trying to take this thing out and trying to do a proper size. This is not to code. You can't reduce pipe size. A trap arm you can't reduce either. But for what we're doing here, a trickle of water, this isn't going to change anything, but this is the simplest, most cost-effective solution to this problem. Okay, so we will cut our cold stop on. So with our scutcheon, you have to bend the interior part out a little bit, and then the scutcheon will fit on. Guys, be sure to close your valve when you install them. And now we'll turn on the water. So this is our Glacier Bay faucet. We have the two nuts. The rubber will go to the top, and then the washer will go on the nut side. Okay, because this is a single handle faucet and we have the standard 3-hole design, what you need to use is this deck plate here. So it has this plastic piece, and then it also has a O-ring. Make sure you don't forget the O-ring. So next the washer goes on. And now the metal. Sorry, the rubber gasket and then the metal washer. And then the nuts will go on. Guys, they're not threaded all the way through, so I'm putting the threaded portion towards the top. Okay, that seems to be tight. You don't want to crank these down so much. You want to start feeling resistance as the rubber starts compressing, but this is perfectly fine. Okay, so our faucet's on. It has the base ring. So now this is our drain. So we have the top piece. So this will go inside. This will go from the bottom. This also has a plastic film. So make sure that you pull the film off. Orientate the drain assembly so the part is towards the back for the pop-up assembly. I would suggest only go hand tight because this is plastic. If it winds up leaking, then you can take some channel locks to the nut underneath. Okay, so it's white silicone. Well, silicone all the way around. I forgot the white silicone and the gun in the material and tools list. So when you put it on, just make sure that you give it a spin back and forth, and I'll look from here and then decide to make sure that the two line up. Alright, so I put the 1.5" Y on. I glued my clean out on. I glued a piece, 2 1/4. So the 3/4 go here, the rest of the way goes that way. This is movable, and then I set my grate on this using my level like that. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and pipe this thing now, and once I'm all done, we'll come back and we'll see what it looks like. So one thing here is I made a mock-up before I went to install this, so I'd make sure that I have clearance for everything. Okay, so we're gonna put our pop-up assembly on. So it looks like this. So this will be at the back like this. So this is our pull rod. I'll go through the hole in the back. So the top half here will go up. This rod will go into one of these holes, and then this will snap in to the back of this. Okay, so that's a rod. This plastic part just snaps on. So for this here, take the cap off. It should just snap in. Okay, so it snaps in. And now this will go into one of these holes. Okay, so this is here, and then this plastic lock. So you'll put this rod in through here. Close the plastic lock down, and then this is the way this should work. But with that done, what I'll do is turn on the water. So make sure you go up to the overflow. I've already done this a half dozen times. So I'll pop the drain. So I had an issue up here, so I tightened it with a wrench. But otherwise, we have a union for a condensate drain, the union slip adapter, and then the trap union nut. Take these three off, the whole thing will come off, so it's serviceable. We have ourselves our clean out, we have our stops, everything looks good. Guys, always make sure everything is serviceable. Alright guys, so that concludes this project. So for this project, I wasn't expecting a cross tee. There was a bathroom on the other side. Thank God I didn't try to pull the fitting out, because I probably would have mangled the drain on the other side. But this is one thing that happens when you can't see through a wall, that you may not be prepared for what it is. So I reduced the size of the trap arm from 1.5 inches to 1.25 inches. And that's not going to affect anything, but it's not worth trying to take anything out. So I didn't have 1.25 inch fittings on hand, but for the volume of water that this thing is going to see, it's not going to be an issue. Guys, if you are working on cast iron, make sure that you take a riser clamp and support the pipe above a fitting that you are going to remove. The pipe can slide down, it can separate, you can change the grade. There's a lot of things that can happen. Most importantly is staying safe. You don't want the pipe to slide down and crush your hand or anything like that. When it comes to soldering, make sure you have water on hand. Remember, everything here is dry. It's been dry for many years. So this is all kindling. It's all ready to catch on fire very quickly. Water's already off, so make sure that you have a spray bottle on hand. The time on this job, the time was about 6 hours, not including the drywall. It was a little bit more work than I anticipated, but everything went fairly well. For the condensate, I went 1/2 inch above the trap arm, and for the distance, everything worked out well. I also used a union for the condensate drain. Everything is serviceable. Guys, I can't emphasize this enough as well either. Make sure that you have a clean out, you have a way to take things apart for when the time comes. Don't just glue it together and then walk away and not think about it later on. The cost of this job. The material, the pipe, the glue, I didn't supply the cabinet or the faucet. The cost was about $110. The plumbing side wasn't all that expensive, minus the cabinet and faucet. But, I mean, this I wouldn't really consider a beginner's level product. There's things that you need to take into consideration and you need to plan ahead with. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, till next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.